Hi, Professor. Before I get started with my presentation, I just wanted to let you know I find it a bit awkward to stare right into a camera while talking to it. So I hope you don't mind, but I'm just going to be looking kind of up rather than at the camera just because it feels a bit uncomfortable for me. Okay, so for my presentation that we had to do on two prisons, one male prison and one female prison in California, I chose to do them on San Quentin State Prison, obviously for the male side, and Central California Women's Facility for the women's prison. Starting off with San Quentin, just to give some background information. San Quentin is located in San Quentin, yes, it is a city, and it was opened July of 1852, making it the oldest prison in California. That's right, there's no prison that was opened before it. It is a maximum minimum facility, meaning that they take all offenders from nonviolent to violent crimes there, which can be kind of sticky, but some other prisons decide to do it too, so I guess it works out. And they still carry out the death row penalty, but it is important to know that the last time they executed someone was in 2006. Okay. So San Quentin offers a variety of programs for inmates to kind of occupy themselves and devote some attention and time to while in the prison. And just to highlight a few, some vocational programs that they offer are machine shop, plumbing, electronics, and building maintenance. They have a variety of others, but that was a long list, so I decided just to add a few of them. And for academic, they offer their inmates to be able to either get their high school diploma if they haven't, through either getting their high school diploma or the GED, which is the equivalent to a high school diploma, or if they want a further education past that, they also offer bachelor's and associate's degrees. This is really cool to me because it shows how the prison it advocates them using their time well in there, for their vocational programs. This is offering them skills so that when they're released, they have something that they could say, you know what, like, I could work here. I know how to do this stuff. Or on the other side, for the academic side, they could say, I could work here because I know all the information. I learned all that stuff that you guys learn out here in regular colleges. I did that in prison. So I think that's really interesting. For the other side, the women's prison, as I said, I chose Central California Women's Facility. To give a little background information about that, just to keep it short, it is located in Chowchilla, California. If you are not familiar where that is, it is south of where we are. They were opened this prison opened in October of 1990. And a little fun fact is they are the largest women's facility in the entire United States. They are the only prison in California to still have death row. And similar to San Quentin prison, they are also a minimum maximum facility, meaning they also take inmates anywhere from nonviolent offenses to violent offenses. Like I said earlier, a lot of prisons can do this. Similar to San Quentin and basically every other prison, this prison also carries programs so that their inmates can spend their time being productive, So for vocational programs, they offer, just to name a few, they offer auto body repair, computer tech, and office services. And for academic, they, as well as San Quentin, offer a high school diploma or GED equivalent, and they also offer some college degrees provided by Feather River Community College, which is a local community college in the area of Chowchilla. So what that means as opposed to San Quentin's side, which doesn't really partner with a community college or any college in general, is the community college in the area will either send over some teachers, that could teach them. Obviously, they'd be getting paid, and they also, what they do is they donate old books. So when they get new books coming in, so oftentimes or sometimes they will also send in old books so that the prisoners can use these textbooks to teach themselves, take notes, or just always have those facts there if they want to go and read up on them. For the second part of my presentation, I thought it would be interesting, rather than just me tell you about these programs that these schools or these prisons offer and how it's very beneficial to the prisoners, I thought it would be interesting to get a prisoner or an ex-prisoner's point of view on this. So I have set up an interview with a former prisoner of San Quentin prison. All right, so for the second part of the video, I have set up a interview with a former inmate, just to kind of get his perspective versus mine, because really all I could provide is things I read online. So everything I say will not be completely accurate because I'm just getting what I'm reading online. So here is a former inmate's point of view. For his confidentiality, I will not be showing his face, and I will not be revealing his name. Okay. So how long were you in prison for?
I was incarcerated for 8 years.
Okay, so for 8 years, that's quite a bit of time. So while doing your time, how was the relationship between the prisoners and the staff?
Between the prisoners and who?
The staff, like prison guards and all them.
So there's a few type of relationships with prisoners and staff or correctional officers. There's some good if the correctional officer has been around for a little while, has been a correctional officer for 10 plus years. Mm-hmm. But it seems to, when a correctional officer is new, those are the ones that come in with the chip on their shoulder.
Kind of fiery?
So they like to try to make themselves dominant. They want to make the inmates inferior to them. So there's some good relationships where the correctional officer respects the inmate as a person, and then there's correctional officers that look at inmates as a number.
Okay.
And especially for someone that's done time or has been around for a while in the system, that's a big role right there. A lot of times, like I said, the newer correction officers, they come in with chips on their shoulders, so they're very, very disrespectful. They don't look at inmates like they're humans no more. So that causes a lot of tension, and you can feel it. You can feel it when there's tension, and it's not just tension with inmates, it's tension with correction officers. They just the same way inmates make the environment uncomfortable, or they form animosity towards each other. They do the same thing with the correction officers.
Right. So kind of what you're saying is, due to the lack of experience, they not only make it worse for prisoners, but they kind of just make it conflicting for just the whole environment as a whole, just because they don't really understand it yet.
Yep, exactly. Like I said, they don't want to be looked at as equal as an inmate. They see us, inmates as below dirt. Mm-hmm. And that might sound bad, but that's me even making it sound a little better. Mm-hmm. It's pretty bad especially when you get young correction officers that never worked around convicts or inmates. They really try to take that badge and use it for power.
So
makes them.
So you're kind of saying they're very judgmental and not very like professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of moving off of how the relationship is, San Quentin. What was that?
Real fast, but there is different type of relationships though. Just so you know, there's good relationships where the correction officer treats you with dignity and respect, and then there's the bad relationships when they don't give you no respect, or and if you're not working together with them, you're not gonna get no respect from them.
Okay. So moving on to the next question. San Quentin, as well as many other prisons, offer a variety of programs ranging from vocational programs, which kind of allow prisoners to gain work skills through kind of teaching them like plumbing or electrician stuff, to academic programs such as allowing them to get their GED or even further their education to college degrees. Can you highlight from a prisoner's point of view how that might be beneficial for when prisoners are being released, they can come out with some sort of skill?
Me to actually, I've taken part in a lot of those programs. It is really beneficial to me now being out here in society. I have actually something to bring to the table when I come to a new workplace. I have a skill. It may have been while incarcerated, but it's still a skill. You still get the same, it's equivalent to just as if you're going to school out here.
Right.
It really does help. It helps a lot. The only bad thing is that, like you said, there's prisons that have these vocational programs, that have college, and then there's prisons that don't. San Quentin is one that has a lot of programs, but in order to get there, it's really hard to actually get to this prison to be able to partake in those programs. It really does help though, coming to society with those tools. It's really helpful.
Right. Aside from the system kind of allowing programs to help inmates, how does the system also help you kind of reintegrate back into society upon being released? Like, how did they help you?
Well, they got just the same way they have vocational programs, like you said, trades, as far as plumbing, GED, college courses. They have those, but they also have programs that are called reentry programs, which they kind of get you back into the mindset of, being able to, remember that, when you're incarcerated, it's unfortunate that you're exposed to a lot of stuff that the normal person shouldn't be exposed to. But they try to teach you with these reentry programs to remember that, society's not like that. Society's not, a violent place, and it's something that it really helps because they kind of try to bring you back into the world as far as being out here. They want you to be comfortable and understand that, that life in there, it's not something you should take with you to the streets. Like me, I went through a reentry program before coming home, and it helped because I actually got to talk to people that were inside. They are out here, productive people of society, and it kind of got me away from talking to other inmates. So it kind of made me remember, it made me remember how to have an actual normal conversation with somebody. I did 8 years, so having a conversation with with fellow inmates, you can relate to each other. So then you kind of with your family and friends that are out here, you lose that, relate. You can't relate no more because someone's been incarcerated for a long time. So someone that's done 10 years and only talk to inmates can't relate to someone that's out here in society. But with those programs, they bring in people to talk to you that are out here, that work 9-to-5 jobs out here in society. So it makes you break that little ice of, being able to talk to somebody again that, didn't go through that life that you went through. So it helps a lot because you're not, imagine me never talking to somebody that was out here for the last 10 years. When I finally do talk to somebody, you won't know how to because they can't relate. You're only going to have the ability to have a conversation with another inmate. But with those programs, they bring people in and they kind of talk to you and you're like, okay, I can talk to, a regular person out here and I can have a regular conversation, not feeling that like you're just trapped in that institutionalized mindset where you only have conversations of jail or prison. They help you bringing people in, talking to you, and you're like, okay, now it broke the ice where I no longer feel, uncomfortable talking to somebody that's not an inmate. I came home and I was able to talk to people at a job interview because they helped me break that mindset of only talking to inmates, or that feeling that, oh man, maybe they're judging me. They teach you like, people, there is good people out here, so don't feel like everybody's judging you. So it helps you.
Oh, interesting. So aside from the correctional side helping you, is there any type of culture based from like released inmates that kind of like they look out for each other when they get out here to help each other maybe find a job or kind of keep each other in line? Like, is there any sort of help from released inmate side too?
You could say that there's like a culture.
So there's a stigma that, if you come out to society, there's that culture of if you come out a changed man, and you feel you changed, and there's other people that came out that didn't change, they'll look at you as, oh, you're a sellout. You changed your way. Like, oh, I'm not going to help you because you're a sellout. You think you're a better man now. That's the unfortunate part, that's a culture in which they feel because you changed that you sold out. You sold out that, oh, I'm not going to talk to you no more because, you let that prison term change you. They want you to still be that bad person, that guy that what got you incarcerated. So that's the unfortunate part, that there isn't people that are out here that want to have that community. Like, look, yes, we were incarcerated, but now we're back in society. We paid our debt. Let's be productive people. Let's be, let's do our part in this society. And that's the unfortunate part. There isn't that. I came home. I didn't have somebody that already went through the system, came home and is working, try to help me. That was the unfortunate part. I wish that it was that maybe someone that been through my shoes was out here trying to help me. Like, hey man, I've been through what you've been through, but you can change, like you can do better. They don't have that. They don't have that out here. No one that's been through the system wants to help the next person if he thinks he's better now or he's a changed man. They, like I said, they think of you as a sellout.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting to hear. I didn't expect that. But
Yeah.
just two more questions for you. In case you are unfamiliar with the term, gate money is money that's awarded to you upon release. It's given to you at the gate. That's kind of why they call it gate money.
Yeah.
So how much was awarded to you upon release, and how helpful was it for you kind of coming out having some money with you?
All right. So the gate money in California, you're awarded $200 at the gate. You know, to some that may have been incarcerated for a long time, $200 may seem like a lot, because $200 in there is a lot. But you got to think about right now. Think about, what can $200 actually get you? You know, say when you're incarcerated, they can transfer you anywhere, to any prison. You know, say you're from the Bay Area and they send you to a prison in Los Angeles. If you don't have family that's going to go there and pick you up, that $200, you got to spend $100 to take a Greyhound. Now you're down to $100. Now you're down to $100. Okay, say you want to buy food that first day, $30 worth of food. Now you're down to $70. That can't even get you a room, because not everybody is fortunate to have family to go to have a place to go to. You know, not everybody has that. So imagine paroling with $200. You just spent $130 to get to where you feel home is, and now you're down to $70. You can't get a room. You can't get a hotel. You can't get, you know. So imagine that. Imagine having $70 to your name and you can't even find a place to sleep because you don't have the money.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, some people have the luxury of having family to support them. So that $200, it's, you know, it's considered, okay, cool, extra money. But to people that done 15, 20 years, everybody gets the same $200 if you did 1 year or if you did 30 years. So imagine doing 30 years incarcerated. You're going to lose a lot of family in 30 years. You're going to lose a lot of contact. People don't stick around. So when you get released, that $200 is all you have. And just remember, out here in society, a gallon of gas is $5. $200 is not going to get you very far. So to some, it may be helpful, but to others, their life, they can't even get their life started with $200. So therefore, even though if you wanted to, all the education that you did while incarcerated, like those vocational programs, you have all these tools, but you don't have the means and funds to get started or to even get your foot, you know, planted in this world. You know, so imagine doing 30 years and $200 is what you have to start your life over again. You know, So it's not going to go very far.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree that I think 200, although California is typically on the higher spectrum of gate money, like I've seen a lot of other places will only give $50. So $200 seems pretty fortunate. It still is not livable, considering many places won't even look at an ex-con and want to hire them, you know? So they kind of have to stretch that $200 for a while until they finally find a place to work.
Find a place, to find a job, to find a place to be able to live. You know, so like I said, some it may be good and it helps, and some to restart your life with $200 is going to be it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. So final question. Feel free to be as honest as you can. The prison system is flawed. Everybody knows that. Whether you're for or against it, there's going to be room improvement for anything. So, from a former inmate's perspective, if you could change one thing about the prison system, what would it be?
One thing. I would say give me let me.
Sure, go ahead and take your time.
All right, so I thought about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that, I would think to change. But I think the one thing that I think would really, really help is the amount of training that goes into the correctional officers. If you were to go online right now, you see ads, become a correctional officer only 14 days. So imagine there's no way you're gonna learn the tools you need to help people rehabilitate in 14 days. Them themselves don't have the tools to be able to cope with stuff, or teach someone how to cope with stuff, or teach someone how to handle anger, or their job is to watch, but it's also to help rehabilitate. When someone is going through something, someone that is there to basically, your safety and your life is in their hands. They should be able to see when someone's going through something. If that can change, I feel like that would be a big difference. Because back to like your first question, is that the relationship. There's guys that come in with a chip on their shoulder. There's guys that, some people, there's good correction officers, but they did that over time. They became that over time. So that's when those good relationships are there, because the correction officers learned how to deal with inmates, how to deal with convicts. They learned how to do that with overtime, doing so many years, putting in so many years. They learned how to, talk to them. Hey, what's wrong? I can see something is wrong. You all right? What's going on? That's a big thing. It's a big thing. And someone to just be able to come in and become a correction officer in 14 days, all you have to have is a GED, and you can become a correction officer. 14 days. There's no way people learn what they need to know in 14 days. They can't even self-regulate on themselves. Imagine teaching somebody else. The coping skills, all that. I feel like a correction officer should be overall, they should be equipped in a lot of areas, as far as they should have to go to school just the same way a police officer goes to school. A correction officer is 14 days. A police officer has to go through academy. They should have to do the same thing, because people's lives are in their hands. Mm-hmm. That would make the difference, because your first contact with somebody when you enter the prison system is a correctional officer. So like I said, either you're going to get that good cop that has those years, that knows how to deal with inmates, or you're going to get that one new cop that has a chip on his shoulder, and that's how your prison starts. Now you hate correction officers. Or you get the good one. Now you feel like, okay, these correction officers, maybe they are here to help us. Maybe if I am going through something, I can talk to them, But if you get that bad correction officer, you're gonna resent them. You're not gonna want to talk to them. You're not gonna want to ask them for help. You put that line between you, like, okay, you're a correction officer, I'm an inmate. There's no relationship there. So I feel like if they were to really take that part serious, it would make a big difference. It'd make a really, really big difference, because as an inmate, you feel like you can't turn to nobody. You're by yourself. But if you had a correction officer to see when someone is, down, that may do a dumb mistake, they can point it out that something's wrong. They can stop something from happening before it happens if they have that skill.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that the schooling, having these correction officers go through a process of learning how to deal with inmates. Not just 14 days. Here you go, you're a correction officer. Now 2,000 inmates' lives are in your hands. So just imagine that. Imagine going into elementary school and the teacher that is there to teach you and guide you to, become a better person in society was only went to school for 14 days to teach you. It's California Department of Rehabilitation. They're supposed to help us rehabilitate. But if they don't even know how to do that, how is somebody supposed to learn how to rehabilitate?
Right.
So I feel like that part, just if they were to put a little more effort into the process of becoming a correction officer, would make a big difference. Big difference. And not just them thinking in 14 days I can become a cop and get good money and I can treat these guys like animals.
Right. All right. Well, that conducts the interview. So thank you for your time and everything you have to share. We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Thank you.